Hi everyone, it's Keren here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a new video with the Dina Wakley media. I have the Blue Edition media journal and her gloss sprays, and I'm so excited to create a new journal. So I'm really excited to try it in one of the pages. I don't know if you've seen the journal, but it has both like white to very thick watercolor paper. It also has some burlap paper and the jean material fabric. So let's get started. I'm thinking I'm going to basically work on both of them as if it's one layout, but it's not. I want to kind of test the same products on both sides to kind of see the differentiation between them. And what I did is I have this face that is a tissue paper from Dina Wakley, and I love her faces and I love how they look. But instead of basically gluing it in the middle, what I was thinking is actually gluing it on the sides. So I'm going to play around with this and see how that works. So I'm going to cut this in half, and then I'm going to glue half of the face on each edge of the journal. So I cut these in half so they can fit here. And what I'm going to do, I want to just actually cut around the edges as well. I like cutting around the edges of some of the areas because that way you don't have that extra piece of tissue paper in the background. And it can be roughly cut because that will look more distressed. So this one will go on this side, and it fits perfectly because they're made for this size of the journal. And the other one is going to go on the other side. Now I don't know how to draw faces really well, so I do love these tissue papers from Dina because they really make it easier to journal that way. So there we go. You can see it's roughly cut, and you can see already the difference between them. They almost look like two different people, even though they are the same person on both sides. I'm going to use some gel medium to glue them in the background. So first I put the gel behind, and I try to put a very thin coat. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this one. So when I glue it, it wrinkles a little bit, and that's okay. We all have wrinkles, and it just makes it look nice. I mean, you can be very careful when you glue, but because it's tissue paper, it's difficult sometimes to make it perfect, but you can flatten the wrinkles up a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm using the rest of the gel to just seal the tissue paper, and if there's any areas that I missed, I can go ahead and seal that as well. So there we go, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now let's see how this medium works on the other side, because don't forget this is fabric. It's different than a thick paper. The gel medium will probably get absorbed more into the fabric, but the nice thing about this gel medium is that it dries clear, so you will not be able to see it afterwards. And in the meantime, I need to add it everywhere. I don't want to miss an area because then the tissue paper won't glue itself to the background. Let's see if I covered it all. And again, the same thing. I must seal this. And it looks bluish, which is nice. I mean, I could have added a piece, white in the background, like white gesso, but I really did not want to do that. I wanted to use this as is. So I'm going to let this dry, and then we're going to do the next step. Okay, now it's almost fully dry, and I guess the gel does show on the jean material, but I was going to add white gesso onto it anyways because I wanted to kind of blend the edges. I always do this when I am doing tissue paper, because once you start adding color, the edges start showing more. So by adding gesso, it kind of helps blend them. I'm also going to prime this page with gesso. I did test it out beforehand with the gloss sprays, and what happened is that it absorbed too much of the color. So I really wanted to have some of the gesso kind of priming it. That way you will see the colors kind of shine. So I am just adding gesso everywhere. I'm going to add a little bit of water on top here because I actually want to add gesso onto everything, but I want just a thin coat, like almost like a whitewash, because I don't want to cover her face. But I want to make sure that that the gel medium underneath doesn't resist the gloss sprays, because according to the properties of the gloss sprays, they're going to resist anything plasticky, anything that has a polymer in it, and gel has polymer. So does gesso, but gesso has also some kind of grittiness to it, so it will react differently than gel. So if that makes sense, I'm just adding it, but I didn't want to cover the background. Same thing here. I'm going to add actually the water beforehand, so that way when I add the whitewash, it's just a little bit on it. And you see what I mean by the gesso? It's kind of covering the edges, so you don't have those harsh edges everywhere. And in this case, I am not going to cover all the blue, because I really want the blue to kind of show a little bit. So this is going to be kind of like airbrushed. It's almost like working with two pages at the same time, because the textures and everything are different. As you can see, I hid this and it looks really, really cool. So again, I'm leaving the blue, and this will act differently. So it's almost like two faces. I like that it's like two faces of the same thing. Now I'm going to let this dry again, so then I can apply the gloss sprays. Now that it's all dry, I want to start adding the color. But I was thinking to show you how to add color with the gloss sprays in a controlled manner, and that is using a paintbrush and actually painting the color. So for example, I'm taking this cheddar color and opening it up. Now I want to be very careful not to spill this, obviously. And what I can do is basically just paint on the face. Now in order to water it down, you can add a little bit of water, and that will act as a dilution to that. So the more diluted there it is, the nicer it looks, and it looks more shaded, right? So if I have too much of it, I could just dab it out. Again, I'm going to add some more, because I want it to be darker on the areas where the shade is. And I'm thinking to also add a little bit of this color. This is the fuchsia color. And I know obviously a face is not this color, but I love the combination of fuchsia and orange. I just love the way it looks. And I want to soak up some of this. There's too much of it. So I'm going to heat set this a little bit because it's too wet, and then I can add another layer to it afterwards. So now I can add a second layer if I want to. So it's basically like painting with a very liquidy acrylics, like liquid acrylics, even more liquidy than liquid acrylics, which is great. And it's so easy to do, and it gives you that beautiful shading. Okay, I love that part now. And you don't want to add a lot. You need to add very little bit of it. It's just kind of like the impression of it. Now I'm going to do the head here. And let's see, what color do I want to add? Maybe I'll add the night color. It's the darkest one I have. I mean, it's a purplish blue. But obviously for the lack of having black. And in this case, what happens is that because I'm adding water, it takes away some of that glossiness. Let's add a little bit of a different shade of blue. Maybe this one is ocean. So it's just blending, basically, just blending the colors with each other. Right now, I'm just blending it in. So what I like about these is that they can be sprayed or they can be painted with a paintbrush. Let's add some of this turquoise color for the bottom, and maybe also for the eyes. So here I am adding a turquoise color. It's my favorite color just because it's like looks aqua. I can just mix this one as well, and then just have a little piece of the eye just kind of shine through. Just want to add a little bit of this blue here. There we go. So that's one of them. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So since I have the blue with me, I'm just going to kind of do the hair part. Now you see it's reacting differently with this one. It looks a little bit different to me. And this one I'm kind of going to extend this way as well to make her a little bit differently. So let's see what happens when I add the water. So now let's do this color. So I'm going to do similar colors just because I really want to see the similarities between them. And let me paint this. I'm going to add like the darker one the same way I did here. Okay, so that's good. Now going back to this one, I see that I need to add some more, but I just waited until it dried a little bit. And just here in the corner to kind of add that shade. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to do the actual face for this one. So let's start with the orange again. So again, I am adding it differently. You could add it with the spout or you could add it with the paintbrush. And now I just add a little bit of spray. And it just kind of does the job for you. You don't even have to do anything, but I am going to spread it a little bit. And if you want to avoid mixing, obviously dry things first. There we go. It looks so different on the different backgrounds. I really like the difference between them. Okay, let me add a little bit of the fuchsia color. The textures make the difference. So it's just a point of playing with the colors and just adding things that make you feel happy and shaded and content with how you're making them. So back and forth with the different colors. So now I just want to add a little bit more of this color. And just a little bit on the eye. And some on the lip. So I find that this one is absorbing it much more, so it almost needs a little bit more color. So I'm going to add it less of a dilution here. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the cheddar color. And while I'm working on one side, the other one is drying, so it works out well that way. So it almost looks like two different women. Even though I cut this one in half, it's so weird that it looks like two different women. I don't know how it looks like two different women, but it is. I keep on working on things. And it makes a difference. Like, just continue to work with the colors. And yeah, that's good. I really love the mixture between these. Okay, so there we go. Now we have these two, and now what I'm going to do is I want to kind of spread the colors out, but I want to use a different color that is not in the mixture, because otherwise it won't look nice. So the key is that I want to spray, but I worry that if I spray, I will get it everywhere. So I am going to use a paintbrush again to just kind of spread this around. So it's a bit more tedious because it takes longer and I'm impatient, but at the same time, I don't want it to like go everywhere. I wonder if I could mix it a little bit with the other green as well. This is more like an olive green. So I wonder if I actually turn the book this way, if I could actually spray a little bit. And let's see how that works. If I spray away from it, I can even put maybe something to cover it. So if I actually just put a wipe to cover, I could actually spray along and get that spraying look. That this is what I want, is to have it sprayed. There we go, that works. So let's do the other color as well. Oh, and it even went into this page. I guess that's good as well. Not expecting it to go that way, but it did. Okay, so that's good. And let me just like kind of hold it down so it drips. I want it to kind of drip. I could even add, I guess, a little bit of water to help that, to let it drip down the page. Oh, that's cool. Look at even the, it's as if she's crying. Let's do that. Okay, that looks really cool. Okay, so I managed to do that, and that's a really cool effect. I like that it's like almost as if she's crying. Okay, so now this green is here, but I don't know, I actually like that. I don't even want to, I like this white space here. I don't think I want to do much to it. I was going to add some color on this side, but I don't think it needs it. I'm going to wipe off the drips. I think it looks better when it's not like that. It does look like she was kind of crying, but I don't want her to be crying. Not right now. I'm not in the mood for that. I wonder if we could use other colors. So let's see. I think the blue would be good. Let's cover her up again. I don't want to mess it all up here. So it looks really nice. I really like this. Okay, let's see. Let's have it drip again. And as it drips, it starts looking even better. So I'm going to just help this up a little bit. So I really like the gesso here. That's basically what I was trying to work with, is the gesso, to make it kind of more ethereal. And I like that it's transferring into the other page, but it's not touching the other girl, the other face. So it's doing that automatically without me even asking it to do that. Now I'm just going to again blend it all in. And I want it to drip more. I want it to kind of reach the other page, as if she's reaching towards her. So I'm going to mix the colors. These two colors look really nice together. And then there we go. So they're kind of connecting to each other. I'm not sure if it's going to the back of the page, but that's okay. I wanted kind of to connect the two ladies not fully connected, but they are connected, and kind of, because they were originally connected, like almost like two souls connected. So I love the splatters here. I'm not going to do anything to that, and I'm not doing anything to this other person over here because I've worked with both sides. And now I just want to use these chipboard pieces. They have make, do it, BU, art, spill. I wanted to put BU, but truthfully I think, let's see if it works for me. I'm wondering if spill art, spill, because truthfully that's what was happening here. Spill art. Let's see if we can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to stencil one of them and use the other one in here. Let's see if it looks better on this side. Okay, yeah, like that. Okay, so I'm going to do this one first. I'm going to cover this lady because I do not want to splatter on her. And I'm going to spray here with the night color just to create that mask. And let me take that out. Art, there we go. Oh, that looks cool. So now I have this, I can use it always for a different piece. And then this one, I can actually spray with dark as well, but I'm gonna do this on outside because I actually wanna glue this one in here. So I can spray it here. And I actually want to show you something really quick and cool. And that is how to create a really cool resist technique with this. So I'm going to dry this one, and then you can spray it with a second color and it will resist it and will look so cool. It almost looks like splatters. So you can add other colors. You could add like even purple a little bit. And they start creating like really cool. It's really, really neat. But I just want to, it's more like I want this color to be. There we go, that's nice. Okay, so the question is, do I put it here or do I put it here? No, I think I put it here, spill art. Okay, that's good. This looks weird here. There's a line here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of green and just use the paintbrush a little bit to just make it part of the background. There we go. So I don't want it to just look like it's not part of it. I decided to go back with this because this space, I guess, was really bothering me. And I'm going to cover her in a way that it doesn't interfere with the splatter. Okay, there we go. It shouldn't interfere this way. Before it was interfering. And I'm gonna go back to this and just add again on this corner only. There we go. Now when you look at it, it doesn't look like weird. It looks like it all belongs. So you can go back and fix things. And now I really like the way it looks because it just looks like it's part of the layout. I'm gonna use some gel medium to just glue this. And just to add some of it to the background, I mean, use a palette knife. Don't always use your fingers. I'm just really bad. I just end up using my fingers for everything. It's a bad habit that I have. Okay, so I think I might use it over here. I find like it's a little bit of a yellow. I think it needs a little bit of something. So I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow in between the letters, maybe with a paintbrush. Actually, much faster is to just spray that. I'm just going to spray and then wipe it off. There we go. And then I can wipe off the top. So it really absorbs. There we go. And then I'm trying to see if I want to add some white splatters. maybe do it with a paintbrush. And you can always remove what you don't want before it dries. We should also add a little bit of white in the eye. Both eyes. Just to add that reflection. It kind of connects the two things together. So it connects the left and the right. I'm going to add a little bit of some markings with my gel pen, jelly roll, just to kind of make it stand out a little bit. I'm just basically outlining the letters. And for the other one, I'm going to use some black. This is a black Fude ball pen. And I'm not exact with it, I don't care. Just creating lines around it. And it writes beautifully on the fabric. That's nice to see. Usually pens don't write nicely on fabric, but this one does, and it really makes it stand out. I'm just going to take the jelly roll one back and just add some white marks. So this is my art journal. It's literally 2 pages in one, but I absolutely love it. What I love about it is that Dina makes such amazing materials and mediums that you can create basically anything and look like an artist. I mean, these are her drawings, so I can't take credit for the faces, but it's just so cool to see. I love how this turned out. Really, really love it. And I hope you enjoyed it and it inspires you to create. I really, that's my whole idea, is how to use this to create art. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends on social media. It's really important to share all these videos because then it helps people decide whether or not they want to buy these products. So I really appreciate when you do share it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope you do, and please join me on my Facebook page, Keren, Tamir and Friends Creative Space, where you can share any inspiration by my videos or my projects or even my products. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you on social media. Bye, everyone.